Hey guys, this is another gaming test, and as you can see, we are featuring the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Here's the model name, and this is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 variant, which is being sold in the Philippines. Let me just quickly show you the back panel. This is the yellow variant. We are running on Android 14 with OneUI version 6.1. Here's the build number. So I just loaded Honkai Star Rail. As you can see, we're running at 1080p with a resolution of 2040 by 1080. We are running at QHD plus 3140 but 3120 by 1440. But in game it goes down to 1080p. Let's pump the graphics all the way to very high. Let's move around to see the frame rates. Right now we're doing around 55 to 60 FPS. Oh, it dipped down to 48, somewhere around here, but still very smooth and very playable on very high. So I just dropped it down to very low, and immediately there's a huge drop in CPU and GPU utilization. We are now consuming around 50%, so half of our CPU and less than half of our GPU resources. Let's bring it back up to very high, 60 FPS. And almost immediately GPU shot up all the way to 100%. Going into overdrive, GPU all the way to 100%. Fully utilized with no overhead. We're really working that GPU with this game. Alright, we're now in game Mobile Legends. Let's just quickly take a look at the graphic settings. High frame rate and high graphics. Super and Ultra is not enabled. And you can see that we are doing 60 FPS without any problems. And CPU and GPU is not even making a dent in our CPU and GPU. Utilization is way below 50%. So hopefully we will be able to play this game with super ultra settings in the near future. Hopefully that gets unlocked by Moonton so that we can fully utilize and take advantage of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 of the Galaxy S24 Ultra. So while we're loading PUBG Mobile, I just wanted to quickly show you Game Booster, which is the game utility for OneUI. So as you can see, these are the options, and if you've had a OneUI phone or a Samsung phone before, then you should be very familiar with it. Not much has changed. So you still have the floating windows for calling, texting, and for browsing while you're in game. Then you also have performance monitors for temperature and memory. And game optimization right now is set to performance mode. Temperature is good. And now it just switched to high, which means we are seeing a rise in temperatures while we are playing this game. And hopefully that doesn't cause too much thermal throttling. Now let's double check the settings in PUBG. Looking at graphic settings, the highest that it allows us to select is Ultra HDR. Extreme HDR is marked as coming soon and it is grayed out. Same with the lobby graphics. Let's look at the controls and let's look for gyroscope support. You can see the setting right here. It is enabled and set to always on. So I'm using gyroscope to look around in PUBG. Works really well. It's super smooth. And once again, this is with the game running on Ultra HDR. For our fourth and final game, we have Carx Street. And you'll notice that the resolution that it is running at is way below the native resolution, and it's not even full HD, it's only HD 1586 by 732. And with that, CPU and GPU load is still not fully 100% with graphics at the maximum setting. 6667, motion blur on, smoke intensity high, and seems that we are pulling around 30 FPS. So there are instances where it dips below 30 FPS, but it's still somewhere in the high 20, 27, 28 FPS, which is still very, very playable. Now I want to see the best frame rates that we can get on this phone, so I'm gonna drop the graphics all the way down. We're gonna turn motion blur off. We're gonna turn smoke intensity off. And doing that gave us a minor frame rate boost. Now that we've been playing for a while now, I just wanted to check on our surface temperature. And from what I'm seeing, the highest appears to be somewhere around 47 to 48 degrees. On the rear panel, we're getting around 45 to 46 degrees. Right around here. So I just ran some thermal throttling tests and you can see the results right over here. It's really bad. This is the graph depicting the CPU performance over time, or the CPU throttling over time. And as you can see, it started at 100%, and as time went on, it went all the way down to below 50% right over here. Yep. And this is the temperature. So it started right around here, which would be around 70 degrees. What's the highest temperature? 72 degrees Celsius. And it averages above 50 degrees Celsius. Let's look at the summary. So total throttling, wow, 54%. That's super high. Total temperature increase of 44 degrees. So take this information as you will, but the way that I interpret this is that thermals are not in very good control on the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and if you're planning to use this for high performance applications or games that use high frame rate and that maximize the CPU and GPU capabilities as well as the battery, then expect thermal throttling to kick in and you will see a performance drop of up to 50%. Before we end this video, let's just project some benchmarks. This is the battery test using PCMark, where we were able to pull 14.5 hours on Wi-Fi. For PCMark Work 3.0, we were able to pull 16,000 points. This is the initial Antutu score that we got out of the box. And then after patching the system, we were able to go as high as 1.7 million points. Now, if you look at the temperature change, it rises by around 5.7 degrees. Now, this is another benchmark that we did in Antutu, and if you look at the temperature change, it rose by 12.5 degrees. Now, this is the Passmark performance test benchmark result where we managed to pull 23K, and look at the disk read and write speeds. Wow, way above 1 megabyte per sec for read and write, except for external storage, right, where it only managed 946 megabytes per sec, but it's still very impressive. So do you guys have any questions about the Galaxy S24 Ultra? We have a bunch of content up on our YouTube channel at Tekuya. We also published some initial impressions on the Galaxy S24 series. What are the different models, what are the different colors, and what are the AI features that you can expect from the Galaxy S24 series. So if you're interested in that, head over to our channel. And I'd like to close this video by leaving you with this question. How many of you guys are heavy gamers? And what sort of games do you play?